episode is brought to you by Jasmine Studio.
Not long ago, in an unknown place where supernatural lives, there was a community called Plethora. Fairy people who have the power to create and control the water element live here, and they are called Plethorians. After many years, the wise elders of Plethora invited all aspiring Plethorians to join in the prestigious water school. Here, the top student would earn the title of the next leader. The current leader needed to find a worthy successor to inherit the legendary Amorphous, the magical water sword, before joining the esteemed Water Council. This urgency arose after the 10th elder transformed into water vapor, ascending to the skies, a sign that the time for a new leader had come. 1,000 eager Plethorians received an exciting invitation, while others chose to enjoy the comfort of their simple lives. Those brave enough to join the adventure faced a tough entrance exam created by the wise elders. The elders summoned 10 enormous tsunamis, challenging the Plethorians to use all their powers to survive the crashing waves. As the giant waves rumbled toward them, the Plethorians sprang into action. Some froze the water into sparkling ice, while others called upon their giant sea friends, like friendly whales and clever octopuses, to protect them from the roaring tides. A few even created big explosions to break the waves apart. At the end of this wild test, 600 Plethorians succeeded. Next came a thrilling challenge. The elders awakened the mighty Hydra, a giant sea serpent that looked like a dragon. This creature was special. It could multiply when it was hurt, and its scales were super tough. With sharp fangs and a quick tongue, the Hydra was frightening. But the Plethorians were ready. Some used ice magic to freeze the creature, while others summoned their sea friends to join the fight. In the end, only 150 Plethorians passed this test.
Victory!
Finally, the elders placed the remaining Plethorians inside a huge iceberg and put them to sleep with a magical spell. To become official students of the famous water school and earn the chance to be the next Plethora leader, they had to escape within a day. In this magical world, only the cleverest and bravest would find their way through the icy challenge and discover their true destiny. After the one-day challenge, only 30 brave Plethorians successfully joined the school. As the school year began, excitement filled the air. Each student eagerly introduced themselves. And the 9 wise elders introduced their special talents. Elder Jallo was the first teacher. She showed the students how to summon rain, from gentle drizzles to mighty downpours. Among the students was a clever fairy boy named Azalin. He quickly mastered the lesson, able to call heavy rain and keep it flowing for more than a day. His classmates were amazed. He learned the skill in less than 2 days. A week later, Azalin was the only student who could showcase the lesson in front of the whole class. This made him feel very proud, but it also changed him.
Everyone watch me. Look at my rain summoning skills. Can anyone else do this?
Wow, Azalin, that's amazing.
Amazing? I mastered Elder Jallo's lesson in just 2 days. Who else can say that?
You really are the best.
Best? Please, you should all take notes, or you'll stay ordinary.
His classmates admired him and elected Azzalan as the class leader. On the other hand, many were also bothered by Azzalan's growing arrogance. One student who seemed to be unfazed, Wavy, caught Azzalan's sharp eyes. Azzalan sensed something strange about Wavy. His extraordinary gift of perception told him that Wavy wasn't an ordinary Plethorian. Deep down, Azzalan felt that Wavy might be dangerous. As friendships formed and challenges unfolded, the magic at the water school became even more mysterious. What would happen next between these two fairy boys? A week went by, and all the young water mages had eagerly learned from their wise teacher, Elder Jallo. It was time for the big test. Each student had to create a gentle rain and then turn it into a heavy downpour until their magical dams overflowed. Everyone did well except for Wavy. Wavy, the youngest in class, was full of energy but struggled. He could make a light drizzle, but when he tried for a heavy rain, he couldn't succeed. Sometimes he made storms, but they never lasted long enough to fill his dam. As a result, he sadly failed his first test. On the other hand, Azzalan sparkled like a star, becoming the class champion. A month later, the students met their new teacher, Elder Shepherd. Elder Shepherd showed them how to create wild, swirling waters. She taught them to make storms that could shake even the calmest seas. Azzalan quickly mastered this magic and became famous throughout Plethora, with everyone believing he would be their next leader. But Wavy wasn't ready to quit. After 2 weeks of hard work, he finally summoned an amazing storm. It roared with the power of a signal number 5, stronger and longer than anything Azzalan had made. Wavy became the talk of the town, celebrated as the second Plethorian in history to summon such incredible strength, following in the footsteps of their legendary hero, Longinus. Word about Wavy's fantastic achievement spread quickly, stirring a bit of jealousy in Azzalan. Seeing Wavy succeed, Elder Jallo decided it was time to give him a passing mark for his first lesson, changing their magical journey forever. Months have flown by, and the students have discovered amazing ways to bend the water element to their will. They can transform their bodies into different forms and shapeshift at will. While all Plethorians can shapeshift, only those in the water school have mastered this skill, able to hold their forms for as long as they wish. Azzalan is a quick learner, excelling in every lesson. Azzalan has a natural charm that draws a group of supporters eager to see him become the next leader. But now, things are getting tough for him, as he faces fierce competition from Wave's impressive performances. One month before the end of their third year, the Water Council decided to challenge the students with a test. The elders announced a 2-month vacation, after which everyone must return to school with a unique achievement. Only those who impress the elders can continue their studies.
I want to be the leader more than anything. But that Wavy, he's not just any rival. I can feel it. He's a dangerous fairy, and I can't afford to underestimate him. If I'm going to stand a chance, I need to become dangerous too. I've heard stories about the long-lost city of Plethora. They say the forbidden book of troubled waters is buried there. I'll find that book and unlock its secrets. No one will stop me from becoming the leader.
The news of the school test spread like wildfire. Plethorians were buzzing with excitement, split into 2 camps, one cheering for Azalin and the other for Wavy. Everyone was eager to see what the 2 boys would bring to the council. Finally, the 3rd month arrived, but only 20 students returned. The presentation began, and the first student stepped up, conjuring a series of massive tsunamis that he controlled effortlessly. It was a remarkable feat, showing she could do what the elders once did, and their smiles confirmed their delight. Next, another student created a giant iceberg, just like the elders had in the past, earning more nods of approval from the council. Then came a pupil who unleashed a hydrogen bomb. Another student sent colorful exploding bubbles into the air. Others called forth swirling sea cyclones and fierce typhoons. In the end, only 10 students passed the test, including 3 who truly wowed the Water Council. One standout was Marine, who brought life to desert plants by making it rain in the dry sands. Of course, there were also Azalin and Wavy. Azalin awakened the fearsome sea serpent, Hydra, demonstrating his control over the creature. The elders were captivated. No one had ever taught them how to summon Hydra before. But Wavy stole the show with his astonishing act. Instead of creating storms or whirlwinds, he wielded a sharp sword and with a single swift cut, he sliced through Hydra, causing it to multiply.
Return to the depths and fall back asleep.
Meanwhile, the 9 students who didn't pass the exam said their goodbyes to their successful classmates, while one student named Bermuda faced expulsion. In a reckless moment, she had created a black hole in the ocean, forming the infamous Bermuda Triangle. The elders had no way to undo the chaos she unleashed, and sadly, she was kicked out of school. Since that day, she has vanished without a trace. The next trial arrived, and the elders set up 5 exciting matches. The winners from each match would become the official challengers for Euphoria, the reigning leader and guardian of the Plethora insignia. The legend says that whoever defeats Euphoria and claims the insignia, also known as the Amorphous or Water Sword, will be granted one magical wish. As everyone expected, a match was scheduled between Azalin and Wavy. The class was given 2 months to prepare, and on the 3rd month, they must return to school ready to face their opponents. The whole of Plethora buzzed with anticipation, and every water fairy placed their bets. During the preparation days, Wavy explored different archives and libraries, gathering knowledge, while Azalin chose to stay home, diving deep into the mysterious forbidden book of troubled waters. Finally, the 3rd month arrived, and the time for the matches had come. The school opened the event to the public, and excitement filled the air as everyone eagerly awaited the showdown between Azalin and Wavy. Azalin crafted a giant ice sword and adorned himself with shimmering, spiky ice armor. Wavy, on the other hand, unleashed a magical power, sprouting jellyfish-like tentacles from his back, each armed with super sharp blades. As the competition kicked off, they leaped into action. The boys moved faster than a blink, conjuring fierce animals to outsmart each other. With every strike, it was anyone's guess who would win. The battle was evenly matched, full of surprises and excitement. Azalin really wanted to win, so he called upon his secret technique. Everyone gasped in fear as the ground trembled beneath them. From the earth erupted an army of over 100 dark Plethorians, each one able to create and control polluted, poisonous waters. It was a sight to behold, and the crowd couldn't believe their eyes. The crowd was filled with fear and excitement. People dashed out of the battle arena, leaving only the wise elders behind to watch. The elders were eager to see how Wavy would outsmart the fierce black Plethorians. Yet deep down they were ready to jump in if things went wrong. Suddenly, something astonishing happened. Wavy called upon the mighty Black Hydra from the troubled waters. From the very ground where a whole army had jumped out, a gigantic black sea serpent emerged, devouring the black Plethorian army in one swift motion. But the Hydra, wild and chaotic, began to wreak havoc everywhere. The elders sprang into action and, after a fierce struggle, managed to defeat the serpent, which vanished into thin air like a wisp of steam. Meanwhile, the Water Council was furious with Wavy and Azalin and decided to kick them out of school. The next morning, whispers of the event flowed like a river throughout Plethora. Citizens were in disbelief that the boys had dared to use the forbidden technique. Some blamed the council for not being clear about the rules, while others felt the council should have guided the students better. As the people united in protest against the elders' decision, the council listened. For the sake of harmony, they changed their minds. Instead of expelling the 2 boys, they decided on a 6-month suspension, just a little less than the time left before school ended. The elders took away the forbidden books from 2 brave students, Azalin and Wavy, and tossed the books into the mysterious Hades Gate. Beyond that gate lies the fiery kingdom of Pyros, home to sparkling fire fairies, a place no Plethorian could survive. Stuck in suspension, Azalin and Waves didn't sit still. Instead, they trained hard and pored over magical books, sharpening their skills for the ultimate showdown. After 7 long months, they returned to school for the final challenge. This time, there were 6 eager fighters, and they all had to face the mighty Euphoria, who was famous for being nearly unbeatable and knew all the water spells in the land. Euphoria crushed the first 3 challengers without breaking a sweat. Now only Azalin, Wavy, and their friend Marine remained. Would they be the ones to defeat the fierce Euphoria? Now it was Azalin's turn to battle. He called upon all the tricks he had learned in school to challenge Euphoria, but none of them worked. Just when he felt hopeless, he decided to try something risky, a forbidden move. From his pocket, he yanked out a mysterious black bottle. With a swift motion, he shattered it on the ground. Suddenly, a swirling dark spirit emerged, rising into the air. As the smoke danced, it transformed into a stunning, enchanting poison fairy, shimmering with a mischievous glow. Azalin commanded the poison fairy to attack, and she soared toward Euphoria. But Euphoria wouldn't back down. He shot roaring ice blades, summoned tidal waves, and unleashed swirling water cyclones, trying to keep her away. Yet none of it worked. The poison fairy was getting closer and closer. Desperate, Euphoria tried to call forth giant sea creatures to help, but they were no match for her. Finally, he had to confront the poison fairy directly. Her dazzling beauty captivated him, and before he knew it, he was caught in a spell, frozen in place. The poison fairy leaned in and kissed him, sipping away all his powers. Euphoria fell under her influence, and she transformed into a massive, wild, dark dragon, exhaling toxic gas. The Plethorians watching in the arena gasped, as they too began to feel the effects of the poison. The dragon rampaged, and Azalin realized he could no longer control her, unleashing chaos all around. Just when all seemed lost, Wavy and Marine swooped in to save the day. Working together, they combined their powers to unleash a whirlwind of cyclone attacks, swirling around the dark dragon. With each powerful gust, the dragon shrank, losing its fearsome form, and turning back into a wispy cloud of smoke. They quickly trapped the spirit in a magical jar, sealing it tightly. Wavy and Marine agreed that the best place to keep it safe was the Bermuda Triangle, where not even the wisest elders could retrieve it. But as they sealed the dark spirit, Marine accidentally breathed in some of the toxic vapor. She started to feel weak and dizzy from the poison. The competition was finally over, and the new plethora leader had been chosen. The Water Council presented Wavy with the magical water sword, Amorphous. Everyone cheered, but their spirits were low. The venomous gas from the poison dragon was still affecting them. The elders reminded Wavy that Amorphous could grant one special wish, and they urged him to wish for everyone's healing. All eyes turned to him, waiting with hope. But to everyone's shock, Wavy hesitated.
I'm sorry, but I have a different wish.
The Plethorians gasped in disbelief. The elders were worried. How could they leave everyone in this state? They quickly tried to summon a healing rain, a magical downpour that could cure any illness. Unfortunately, their efforts were in vain. The healing rain could only fall on the first day of May, and that day had already passed. Desperation filled the air as the Plethorians pleaded for Wavy to reconsider, their hopes hanging by a thread. At last, Wavy raised his hand high, and to everyone's surprise, he summoned a gentle rain. It was no ordinary rain. It was a healing rain. Wavy handed over the Amorphous to the elders. The Water Council was divided. Some were amazed by Wavy's incredible skills, while others were frightened by his unexpected power. How could he create the healing rain when only the council could do it just once a year? As the sun began to set, the Plethorians felt the healing magic wash over them. They were all cured and filled with joy, ready to head home after a long and eventful day. The crowning ceremony for the new leader was just a week away, and excitement filled the air. News spread quickly, and Plethorians who supported Wavy threw lively parties to celebrate him. Wavy was busily attending these joyful gatherings. Marine had her own fans too and was attending her own parties. Sometimes their paths crossed at the same event, and they would share quick smiles and greetings. Everyone wanted to be close to the famous Wavy, knowing that life would change dramatically once he became the leader. Meanwhile, the supporters of Azalin were feeling sad and upset because they had just learned that the council had exiled him to an old, forgotten city. The day everyone had been waiting for finally arrived. Coronation Day. The Plethorians gathered in the majestic water temple, where the atmosphere was both solemn and magical. Colorful, tiny flying creatures danced all around, and the ground sparkled with glowing little beings. The temple walls were made of shimmering water, allowing everyone to catch glimpses of sea fairies, like mermaids and playful water babies swimming by. Two icebergs floated in the air, one high above where Euphoria, the outgoing leader, stood. And a lower one where Wavy, the new leader, waited for his moment. Beneath them are unicorn fairies and enchanting creatures that sparkled with beauty. Above the icebergs, fluffy clouds hung like curtains, and behind them were majestic floating crystal gems of different colors and sizes. These gems concealed the elders, but the Plethorians recognized their familiar voices easily. The stage was set for an unforgettable ceremony. The unicorn fairies filled the air with enchanting melodies. The ceremony kicked off with Euphoria giving a heartfelt gratitude speech. Next came the special moment, the oath-taking ceremony for Wavy, his successor.
The tides of fate converge, and the ancient song awakens. Will you heed the call?
The elders blessed the magical water sword, and Euphoria handed it over to Wavy. Cheers erupted as everyone celebrated while Wavy proudly accepted the water insignia. The crowd was buzzing with excitement, eager to hear Wavy's captivating personal wish. And to see the amazing magic of Amorphous. Now it was time for Wavy to make his wish. He removed his upper garments. And the crowd grew silent as they noticed something mysterious on his back. There was a perplexing tattoo that looked a bit like the Greek letter lambda. The Water Council gasped in surprise. They recognized it as a symbol similar to the Longinus seal, the tattoo of their legendary hero. But Wavy's tattoo was somewhat distorted. Everyone was intrigued and whispered among themselves, wondering what this could mean for Wavy and his wish. The chatter of confusion filled the air, but everything quieted when Wavy spoke up.
Amorphous, the magical water insignia, heal me. Take away my disaster seal.
Gasps echoed through the crowd. They couldn't believe their ears. The ancestors of Plethora had told tales about the disaster seal. It was said that whoever bore it would bring danger and misfortune. Whispers surged through the crowd.
Is this a prank?
Is he trying to scare us?
Is this part of the show?
Is he being serious?
How could this be happening?
The excitement mixed with fear as everyone waited to see what would unfold next. Their ancestors had shared tales of the legendary hero Longinus, who had bravely defeated a terrifying Plethorian with a disaster seal and cast him into the lost gate of the abyss. Now questions buzzed in the air.
Could the monster with the disaster seal have come back as Wavy?
What if Longinus could be reincarnated too?
A hush fell over the crowd as Amorphous began to glow brightly. Wavy and the Plethorians watched eagerly, hoping to see their greatest fear vanish and heal Wavy at the same time. But just then, something unexpected happened. The Amorphous shattered into sparkling pieces. Worry and confusion rippled through the crowd.
Elders, what's happening?
Plethorians murmured as tension filled the air. Wavy felt a storm of emotions. He was deeply sad that the water sword had failed him, heartbroken that everyone now knew his secret, and afraid of being judged. Most terrifying of all was the thought of being cast into the abyss. Suddenly, a dazzling light surrounded the shattered Amorphous. To everyone's amazement, the sword began to rebuild itself, turning into two. One sword soared toward Wavy. while the other flew into Marine's hand, leaving everyone even more puzzled. The elders called Euphoria to join them as a new member of their council. He transformed into a shimmering green gem and began discussing the mystery with the other elders. The crowd grew louder, demanding answers. But the elders needed time to figure things out, so they combined their powers and magically froze everyone in place. The elders gathered to review ancient scrolls. The scroll says, "A disaster seal is a fairy with powers greater than the elders combined. These mythical beings wield dark magic that can cause great destruction. They are deceitful and evil. Joining disaster seals is forbidden, as it brings chaos, and there is no cure for them. They must be cast into the abyss, far from goodness." As they debated Wavy's leadership, most of the elders disagreed. But Wavy could hear them all, though he was also frozen in ice, unlike the others. Wavy remained aware of what was happening. Slowly, the magic spell began to weaken, and everyone regained their senses. The elders lifted Marine onto one of the floating icebergs, placing both her and Wavy at the same height. The leader of the elders announced,
"Hear me, Plethora. The Amorphous has split into two and given us two powerful leaders to choose from. Now let us vote."
As expected, the majority of the crowd voted for Marine. She was crowned the new leader of Plethora. When the elders asked what her wish was, she declared,
"I wish for the power and blessing to keep Plethora peaceful, calm, and to protect and unite its citizens."
A brilliant light shone around her, and everyone watched in amazement as Marine glowed brightly, knowing her wish had been granted. Meanwhile, Wavy felt a deep sadness, and a heavy weight of self-pity settled in his heart. The leader of the elders approached Wavy.
"I know you brought healing rain to the Plothrians when they were in danger. Because you showed mercy, mercy will be shown to you. Keep the twin Amorphous. As long as you have it, no one will try to throw you into the abyss. We promise to honor this covenant. Otherwise, we will have to deal with you as a disaster seal."
After that unforgettable ceremony, everything changed for Wavy. His friends seemed hard to find, and many in the crowd rejected him. As time goes by, Marine noticed Wavy's sadness and felt sorry for him. She decided to befriend him. As time passed, they grew close as best friends. Wavy taught Marine how to create healing rain, and in return, she promised to support him.
"I promise my allegiance in return for this gift."
One day, the Water Council summoned Wavy for an important mission. They asked him to go to the old forgotten city to stop the army of troubled waters, who were planning to bring war against the elders.
Wavi, we need your help. The army of troubled waters is planning to attack the elders.
They want to start a war. We're worried about the Plethora soldiers' safety.
With your incredible magic and the insignia you possess, only you can stop them.
We believe in you, Wave. This mission is dangerous, but you're our best hope.
Trust your instincts, and the waters will guide you. I won't let you down. I'll head to the old city right away.
Wavy bravely battled the rebel army of troubled waters. He fought fierce black hydras and trapped the dark Plethorians in a massive iceberg, putting them to sleep. Along the way, he faced a group of stunning poison fairies. He was captivated by their beauty and amazed by their quick moves and ability to create illusions. They engaged in an epic and thrilling fight that tested his skills. Without taking a break, Wavy hurried back to the Plethora Water Temple, eager to share his heroic deeds. He hoped that his victory would win everyone's approval. But when he arrived, he was confused to find the Plethora city completely empty.
This is strange. No! What if half the army had ambushed Plethora while I was away? Or maybe they were planning a surprise celebration for my victory.
Thoughts swirled in his mind. Wavy's heart raced as he tried to make sense of the silence around him. Wavy approached the temple, but the gate was locked tight. Curious, he made his way to the backyard and found another gate that was unlocked. As he slipped inside, he was amazed to see all the Plethorians kneeling in what appeared to be a ceremony. Deciding to hide and watch, he spotted Pelagic, the leader of the elders, perched atop a gigantic golden crab, the mythical zodiac star known as Cancer. Surrounding him were the other elders, disguised as shimmering crystal gems floating around Pelagic's head.
Plethorians, listen! Accept the sacred water from this heavenly jar. Those who do will receive Aquarius protection against the disaster seal. This ceremony must remain a secret, and Huawei must not know about it.
Wavy's heart raced as he listened, wondering what secrets were being kept from him. The crowd promised to keep the ceremony a secret. One by one, they stepped forward, bowing their heads as Pelagic poured golden water from the celestial jar. Wavy felt a surge of betrayal, anger swelling inside him. His heartbeat raced, creating roaring thunders across the sky, and soon heavy rain began to pour. Pelagic sensed someone lurking near the back door and turned to look in Wavy's direction. But quick as lightning, Wavy transformed into raindrops and slipped away. Pelagic couldn't see him, but deep down, he knew it was Wavy. Worried, Pelagic hadn't expected Wavy to return so soon. The next day, he planned to summon Wavy to reward him for his bravery.
Find Huawei! I need to reward him!
He's not here, my lord. I've searched everywhere.
Keep looking! His bravery must be recognized!
Years passed, and many rumors spread. Some said Wavy had perished in battle with the Black Army. Others claimed he had lost the twin Amorphous and was thrown into the abyss by the elders. Some whispered that Aquarius Blessing had chased the disaster seal away from Plethora. Yet none of these tales were confirmed. As the years rolled on, Plethora remained peaceful, and life returned to its normal rhythm. The Plethorians busied themselves with their daily lives, forgetting the old rumors and the story of Wavy. He became just a faded memory, a forgotten tale in the history of Plethora.
Listen up, my children! From this chaos we will rise! Our time has come!
Hey, Insignia followers! Have you ever wondered how the magnificent plethora would look in today's world? Well, get ready to experience a stunning reimagination that blends timeless elegance with modern flair.
Brought to you by Jasmine Studio.
Be sure to like and subscribe so that you will not miss the next episode.
Brought to you by Jasmine Studio.